Hello everyone, I'm Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Education Minister says COVID-19 has placed in the spotlight the important role that teachers play in educating the nation's children. Dominica reopens to stay over visitors by launching the Safe in Nature brand, and President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania test positive for COVID-19 virus. The details coming up.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This video has been produced by the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, to help small businesses go digital. Good day, I am Rashida. I help families in the community to get everything they need without having to leave their homes. First, I started by presenting my business on WhatsApp. I also tell customers to take a photo of the sign for future orders. I keep all the numbers of my clients. With my database ready, I put together a catalog of products with prices listed to be shared with all my contacts. I also prepare promotions and baskets. When customers come by to collect their orders, we make sure they do not have to wait. Reactivate your business and discover new ways to reach your customers. More guides and templates are available for download.
Visit bb.undp.org. E-Future is now.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Dominican teachers commended for their role and response to educating the nation's children during the COVID-19 pandemic. Andrea Louis tells us more.
The commendation from Education Minister Octavia Alfred when she addressed teachers on Friday ahead of World Teachers' Day on Monday. Minister Alfred says the COVID-19 pandemic has reminded the nation of the important role teachers play in the lives of children and applauded them on their response to the pandemic.
We responded speedily and efficiently despite the challenges of COVID. These challenges I know you are most familiar with because you face them head on. So while I am proud of the work done at the ministerial level to ensure teaching and learning continued, I am even more in awe of the efforts of principals, teachers, and other school staff. You are the real champions of education, and I commend you for all that you do and all that you have done.
The Education Minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensuring teachers develop the necessary skill set to continue with the online learning approach.
Online teaching requires completely different skill sets and techniques. You have always exhibited that you have the aptitude to take on the challenge. The Ministry of Education must now respond to help you to refine your skills, to equip you with the know-how to manipulate new media, new tools, and new platforms to be effective teachers. As we grapple with the new challenges to learning, which was brought upon us by COVID-19, we are more convinced than ever before that we should push ahead with the strides we have already made in virtual learning.
Alfred also pointed to some of the ministry's efforts to improve the IT facilities at schools to facilitate the online learning process.
We know that it is critical to strengthen our schools' IT capacity since the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, and we have ensured that all schools are equipped with internet connectivity. We also distributed over 300 devices to schools for students' use in classroom learning. These measures, we hope, will advance our plans for blended learning as we bring our education system in line with the demands of innovation.
Friday's function was held under the theme, Teachers Leading in Crisis, Reimagining the Future. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Dominica has opened its doors to stayover visitors with the launch of its Safe in Nature brand. Here again is Andrea Louis to explain.
The Safe in Nature media launch on Friday saw the Discover Dominica Authority revealing its plan to safely welcome and cater to visitors to the Nature Isle in these COVID-affected times. The tourism industry had been brought to its knees with the halt in international travel due to the pandemic. Dominica reopened its borders to residents based overseas in July and started to welcome non-residents in August. According to marketing executive at the DDA, Samantha Later, the Safe in Nature brand will ensure tourists and locals remain safe during a visitor's trip to Dominica.
Dominica truly welcomes back all travelers to its shores. Dominica remains committed to providing visitors to our shores a safe travel experience from arrival to departure. We are now pleased to introduce the Safe in Nature brand concept. Given the decline in visitor arrivals to our shores during this pandemic, it was paramount in our minds that the need for when the time is right to put in place measures and mechanisms that will help revive and sustain the tourism industry, all with a view at maintaining the safety of our Dominicans and, of course, our visitors.
The Safe in Nature brand concept will cater to the stakeholders who have met the DDA stamp of approval to participate in this initiative.
Safe in Nature will ensure a managed experience through the first 5 to 7 days of visitors arriving to Dominica. This managed experience includes the transportation services to and from the ports of entry, stay at a certified accommodation to include the activities and the amenities on the property, transportation services to select destinations, to select locations, for activities to include water-based and land-based activities. Now, apart from COVID precautions, Safe in Nature will involve the holistic care of our visitors.
Minister for Tourism Denise Charles says a joint monitoring group has been established to ensure the protocols are adhered to under this initiative.
I want to ensure you that enjoying Dominica Safe in Nature means that there are two priorities: the health of all of us and an unforgettable experience for each guest. We are all committed to this. And to ensure that we all adhere to the protocols, a joint monitoring group comprising of representatives of both the private and the public sectors will be randomly visiting certified properties and sites.
A renewed call to Dominicans to take cancer seriously. The call from President of the Dominica Cancer Society, Yvonne Alexander, ahead of the Society's flagship event this weekend. The annual Walk for Cancer Care has this year been changed to a Drive for Cancer Care due to the limitations brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Ms. Alexander says awareness will continue leading up to Sunday's event as funding is needed to assist cancer survivors.
We'll have a number of radio discussions as well to keep people updated about the event, and we will have t-shirts. The t-shirts are costing us a little more this year, but we want to keep the cost at $25. We've written to a number of organizations and we are hoping that each and every one of them, no matter how small, will make a contribution to this event. We have written to a particular company hoping that they will get on board and probably be part sponsor of this event. But in the meantime, in the interest of time, we are continuing with our public awareness and trying to get everyone to, plan to spend that afternoon with us, helping to raise awareness, helping to raise funds.
The Society's president says Dominicans need to continue to take the issue of cancer more seriously.
Cancer is very serious and it calls for each and every one of us to take it seriously, to not leave our health to chance, to be proactive in having your screening done. We know for a fact that some of the main cancers are breast and cervical cancer for women. Men, it is prostate, but it is also lung, and it is also the colon cancer is serious. Please do not wait until you're getting symptoms of something to visit a doctor. Make it part of your practice or to have, for instance, an annual medical examination. This is what we are encouraging.
The drive for cancer care is scheduled for Sunday, 4th October. The drive will start on the Roseau Bayfront at 2 p.m. and end at Portsmouth. You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Son of the late Prime Minister Rosie Douglas, Tiani Behanzin is not the only one who is raising questions surrounding his father's death 20 years ago this week. Tiani Behanzin told Matt Peltier on the hot seat this week he believes Rosie was executed. Felix Augustine Jr., who was a journalist traveling across the world with Rosie Douglas prior to his death, says he has always had questions about the sudden death of the late Prime Minister. He finally spoke about this week.
Rosie and I think we were in London. And we were coming from that trip, and then he said he wanted to go somewhere else, and so I went ahead to Dominica to prepare for the time. It was the Million-Man match in Washington because that was going to be the next event that we were going to, and I said I wanted to go home and get some rest. And then while I was in Dominica, he followed, and then he came home, and then I heard of his passing. I was at a friend of mine's house, and the person said, you should check the radio or the TV because Rosie has died. And I was like, well, that's not possible because, I just left Rosie in very good condition. As you can remember, we were in Houston and Miami, and we were in the parks running, and Rosie was with Secret Service, and we had to get on golf carts because we couldn't keep up with Rosie. And, so the person said, you should check it out. And I was like, well, that's just not possible because, the only thing I can think about is if it's a plane crash, some kind of accident or something, because, But what really stuck with me, Matt, over the years is that after Rosie died, to this date, not a single person in the Commonwealth of Dominica, medical or otherwise, has ever asked me or any one of us, what is it that we observed about Rosie while he was alive health-wise? And that, to me, is kind of, thinking about it this many years later, and like I said, it has stuck with me over the years, is I couldn't understand why, because we all know if we're trying to investigate something and, say a crime has been committed or something, or somebody was with somebody and they were the last set of people to see them alive, you would want to know, okay, well, Mr. Augustine, while you were with Rosie, did you see him coughing? Was he bleeding? Was he something, nothing? And not a single person has asked us, where did Rosie go? Do you remember any of the conversations that he had or any of the people that he met with? Nothing to this very date, man. It's been 20 years. And this has stuck with me for that many years. And to this date, I cannot understand why that has been.
Augustine says Rosie's security detail during his trips overseas was an indication of how important his safety was.
I remember speaking to Babu, I think a couple days later after the death, and he said, Felix, you should never believe that Rosie died of natural causes. I said, well, why? He says, well, look, there are people, and again, I'm not going to mention names and stuff like that, who, if they wanted Rosie dead, and because you travel with him, when Rosie was in the U.S., when Rosie was wherever he traveled, he had the, security comparable to almost the president, because that was of a threat he was to many people. And so I said, well, like, whatever it is that they could have done, they said, look, they knew Rosie had gone to London to get his medical done, right? And whatever it is, a heart condition he had, they could have done something that could have sped up whatever medical condition that they thought they might have seen. And I always used to say to him, you know, at the time, that whatever it is that they did to him could have been done to me as well, because I was with Rosie all the time. One of the things that I liked about Rosie as well is, and I love hanging out with him, is that he didn't drink and he didn't participate in a lot of that stuff. And that's the same thing with me. So whenever we went, you know, it was always easy for us to say, hey, just get us some juice, or so get us some you know, water or something to drink, because that's just who he was. And so, you know, I always used to say, well, whatever it is that they planted for him could have affected me as well, because, like I said, I was with him all the time. I mean, the very last time I packed his bags, you know, I mean, I saw all the coconut cheese and all the, you know, the tablets and stuff that he had in his bag. And, you know, he had some different medication then. I remember that morning when we left, Libya, I asked him, like, you know, why are you taking all of those medications, you know? Again, you know, we didn't have much of a conversation about it.
A significant step forward in enabling countries to contain and combat COVID-19 is being able to deploy quality antigen or rapid diagnostic tests. Executive Director of the Global Fund says while RDTs are not a silver bullet, they are hugely valuable as a complement to PCR tests. He says while the rapid diagnostic tests are a bit less accurate, and they are much faster, cheaper, and don't require a lab. The World Health Organization reached an agreement with its partners this week to make 120 million COVID-19 rapid tests available to low and middle-income countries.
This will enable low and middle-income countries to begin to close the dramatic gap in testing between rich and poor countries, and is thus a big step towards more equitable allocation of diagnostics. Right now, high-income countries are conducting 292 tests per day per 100,000 people. For upper middle-income countries, that number is 77. For lower middle-income countries, 61. And for low-income countries, 14. There are still challenges. Fully utilizing the volume guarantee for 120 million tests, and I'm sure you can do the maths, will require $600 million, which we don't yet have. And even 120 million tests over 6 months, while a massive increase over what has been available so far, represents a fraction of what is really required.
Continued donor support will be required to sustain this effort.
If low and middle income countries were testing at the rate high income countries are testing right now, 120 million tests would be enough for less than 2 weeks. Moreover, with the emergence of these antigen RDTs, we are likely to see testing rates increase significantly in countries at every income level. The Global Fund anticipates using at least 50 million from our COVID-19 response mechanism to support countries in procuring these tests, as well as continuing to support countries in procuring PCR tests. We anticipate initiating the first orders this week. But our ability to continue to fund countries in purchasing these tests will be a function of the continued support we get from donors for our COVID-19 response.
And President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump are experiencing mild symptoms of COVID-19 after revealing Friday that they have tested positive for the coronavirus. It was a stunning announcement that plunges the country deeper into uncertainty just a month before the presidential election. Trump, who has spent much of the year downplaying the threat of a virus that has killed more than 205,000 Americans, said he and Mrs. Trump were in quarantine. Not surprisingly, this news made Friday's headlines around the world.
Now, the President and First Lady joined the more than 34 million people worldwide who've tested positive for COVID-19. And once again, it demonstrates that the virus hasn't spared world leaders either.
Breaking news in the last hour. Donald Trump and his wife Melania have tested positive for coronavirus.
Donald Trump a annoncé ce matin avoir été testé positif au Covid-19.
Donald Trump إصابته بكوفيد-19.
The top story in the midst of a global pandemic, the deadly coronavirus infecting the highest level of American government. President Trump now joins a small but powerful group of world leaders who've contracted COVID-19, including Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who after initially working in isolation had to be transferred to an ICU. He recovered and thanked the National Health Service.
The NHS has saved my life, no question.
This morning, Johnson tweeted, quote, "My best wishes to President Trump and the First Lady. Hope they both have a speedy recovery from coronavirus." It's sympathy that wasn't extended in the official China Daily. The paper said, quote, "The positive test is yet another reminder that the coronavirus continues to spread, even as Trump has tried desperately to suggest it no longer poses a danger." Showing supporters a bottle of hydroxychloroquine he took after testing positive for COVID, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro recently called the virus a, quote, "little flu." He said closing the economy did more harm than the pandemic. President Trump's diagnosis drew reaction from the Kremlin, with Russian President Vladimir Putin sending him a telegram that read, quote, "I hope that your inherent vitality, good spirits, and optimism will help you cope with the dangerous virus."
Well, we also heard from the Director General of the World Health Organization, who sent well wishes to the President and First Lady, but also recalled how the Trump administration formally notified the UN back in July of plans to withdraw from that organization, with the President at that point saying they're, quote, "in need of reform."
The White House physician said the president is expected to continue carrying out his duties without disruption while recovering.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. The Education Minister says COVID-19 has placed in the spotlight the important role that teachers play in educating the nation's children. Dominica reopens to stay-over visitors by launching Safe in Nature brand. And President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania test positive for COVID-19 virus. You may access the news on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Have a good weekend.